This video explains how to remove redundant white spaces in a string using the Python programming language. So without too much talk, let's dive into the Python code. In this video I will show you several examples, and all of these examples are based on the example string that we can create with line 1 of the code. So in this line of code I'm creating a new data object which is called myString, and we can print our string below the code box using the print function, and then you can see that our string contains the sentence, "This sentence contains many redundant white spaces." And you can also see that at the beginning of this string and in the middle of this string you have many redundant white spaces. Now let's assume that we want to remove the white spaces at the beginning and at the end of our string. Then we can use the strip function, as you can see in the second code box. And in this case I'm applying the strip function to our data object myString, and then I create a new data object which I call myString1, and I print this data object below the code box. And then you can see that our new string contains only white spaces in between the words, but not at the beginning or the end of the character string. It's also possible to remove only the white spaces at the right side of our string using the rstrip function, as you can see in the third code box. So the only difference here compared to the previous example is that I'm using the rstrip function instead of the strip function. So the R stands for right. And then I'm storing the output of this in another data object which I call myString2, and I print this data object below the code box. And then you can see that at the beginning of our string we still have white spaces, but not at the end of the string. Similar to that, we can also use the lstrip function to remove redundant white space on the left side of our string. So after running these lines of code, you can see that another string is returned, and this string does not contain any white space at the left side, but it still contains spaces at the right side of the string. So in the previous examples I have shown you how to use different strip functions to remove white spaces from a string. However, it's also possible to use the sub function, as you can see in the next code box. So as a first step we need to import certain regular expressions using this line of code, and then in the next step we can use the sub function to replace certain white spaces in our string by only one white space. So after running this line of code, another string called myString4 is created, and as you can see after printing this string contains only one white space, so all double white spaces have been removed. Please note that there's still one empty space at the left and at the right side of the string. Last but not least, I want to show you how to replace all white spaces in a character string using the replace function. So in order to do that, we have to apply the replace function to our string. And then within the replace function, we need to specify that we want to remove all white spaces by an empty character string. And as in the previous examples, I'm storing the output of this in another string object that I call myString5, and I print this string below the code box. And then you can see that we have created a new string which contains no white spaces at all. That's all I wanted to explain in this video. In case you want to learn more on this topic, you may check out my homepage statisticsglobe.com, because on my homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail. I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video so you can find it there. If you have liked this video, or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. I'll try to respond to all comments as soon as I can. Furthermore, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified about future video releases. I have already published about 500 videos on this channel, and I'm releasing new videos on a daily basis. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.